Now, class 7 today, chapter 4 roots, name of the story is Dusk. Norman Gorsby sat on a bench in the park with his back to a strip of bush-planted sward fenced by the park railing, the row fronting him across a wide stretch of carriage drive. Now, the name of the person is Norman Gorsby. He was sitting on a bench in the park. Now, it was covered by bush. In the name of the park is Hyde Park. Now, actually, my students, I will read the paragraph. I will explain you the story and then question answer meaning like that. Now, it was some 30 minutes. The time was 6:30 in the evening. Now, the time is dusk and the moonlight, fainted moonlight, and it was covered by the street light. The scene pleased Gorsby, harmonized with the present mood. Dusk in his mind was the always Gorsby considered, page number 55, that dusk is the time of very sadness, gloominess, like that. Now, he was also looking very sad. Now, beyond the sheltering screen of bushes and panties came a realm of brilliant lights and noisy, rushing traffic, very rushing traffic. A blazing many-tier stretch of windows shone through the dusk. Many-tier windows also shone in the dusk, and the people were busy with their life struggle, and many people they faced failure, but they did not admit their failure. So Gorsby's imagination pictured things as he sat on his bench in his almost deserted walk. He was in the mood to count himself among the defeated. Money troubles did not press on him. Had he so wished, he could have strolled into the thoroughfares of light and noise, and taking his place among the jostling ranks of those who enjoyed prosperity or struggled for it, he had failed in a more subtle ambition, and for the moment he was heartsore and disillusioned. That is, Gorsby, he had no headache for money, enough money, but here disillusioned, quite gloomy and confused what to do. He was sitting in the park on a bench. On the bench by his side sat an elderly gentleman with a dropping air of defiance that was probably the remaining vestige of self-respect. A very old man was sitting with self-respect, enough self-respect, but gloomy in nature and in a shabby dress, and suddenly he left from the place, and within a few moments a young man came and he occupied the seat. Now, you don't seem in a good temper. Gorsby asked the young man, it looks to me that you are not in a good temper. The young man turned to him with a look of disarming frankness which put him instantly on his guard. The young man said that, yes, frankly speaking, I am not in a good mood. You wouldn't be in good temper if you were in a fix I am in, he said. I have done the silliest thing I have ever done in my life. The young man said, yes, I am not in a good mood because I have done the silliest thing in my life. Yes, said Gorsby disappointedly, came up this afternoon meaning to sat at the Pentagonium Hotel, Berkshire Square. I came up to the hotel. Name of the hotel is Pentagonium Hotel, Berkshire Square. Continued the young man. When I got there, I found it had been pulled down some weeks ago. I came in search of Pentagonium Hotel in Berkshire Square today, and when I arrived there, I found the hotel was no more. Some weeks ago, it was no more. Since some weeks ago, the taxi driver recommended me to another hotel some way off, and I went there. I just sent a letter to my people giving them the address, and then I went out to buy some soap. The man who is known to me, who was known to me, I gave my address, phone number, everything, and then I went out to buy some soap. but I had forgotten to pack any, and I hate using hotel soap because I did not bring any soap from my home, and I always hate to use the hotel soap. Now, then I strolled about a bit, had a drink at a bar, and looked at the shops. And when I came to turn my steps back, I forgot to trace again the hotel and the address of the hotel. Now, of course, I can write to my people for the address, but they won't have got my letter till tomorrow. But it is not also not possible to trace my people because they won't get my letter until tomorrow. Now, meanwhile, I am without any money. The young man said, now I have no money with me. With about a shilling on me, with taking a shilling, because it is in London, I went to the shop to buy a soap and getting the drink, and here I am wandering about with 2 pence in my pocket and nowhere to go at night. Where to go, I don't know. Now, there was a stop in the story, an eloquent stop, and Gorsby said that I had experienced the same kind of thing in my life. Once I visited the foreign capital, there I had to face the same type of the thing. Now, the young man wanted to get some money from Gorsby, but Gorsby at first denied to give it, and after that, when the young man was going away, at that time, the Gorsby got a soap just under the bench of the park, and he thought that it had evidently fallen out of the youth's overcoat when he flung himself down on the seat. In another moment, Gorsby was in anxious quest for the youthful, and Gorsby understood that he had not done the same good thing by not trusting the young man. Now, the Gorsby said that your story has turned up, holding out the cake of the soap to him. It must have slid out of your overcoat pocket when you sat down on the seat. Gorsby said it must slip down of your pocket when you sat on the seat. I saw it on the ground after you left. You must excuse my disbelief, but appearances were really rather against you, and now, as I appeal to the testimony of the soap, I think I ought to abide by his verdict if the loan of the sovereign is any good to you. We said that, okay, it's a mistake for me, and I understood this is your soap. The young man hastily removed all doubt on the subjects by pocketing the coin, and he gave the coin, he accepted the coin and pocketed it. Now, here is my card with my address. Gorsby said, take my card with my address, because you address for any day this work will do for returning the money. And here is the soap. Don't lose it again. It's been a good friend to you. Now, this soap, you don't lose it. It's a great evidence. By looking at the soap, I realized that you told me the truth. Now, lucky thing you're finding it, said the youth, and then with a catch in his voice, he blotted out a word or two of thanks and fled headlong in the direction of the night beach, and he went very hurriedly. Now, poor boy, he as nearly as possible broke down, said Gorsby to himself. It's a lesson to me not to be too clever in judging by circumstances. Gorsby thought that he was a fool, as he could not judge the young man properly. So he said that I did not do this good thing by judging the young man, because I was wrong at the first instance. As Gorsby retraced his steps past the seat where the little drama had taken place, he saw an elderly gentleman poking and peering beneath it and on all sides of it, and recognized his earlier fellow occupant. Now, as Gorsby was going to back on the bench of the park, he saw the same old man. Again he returned to the place and he was searching for something. Then he asked, "Have you lost anything, sir?" He asked, "Yes, sir, a cake of soap." The old man replied, "Yes, sir, the cake of soap." The story is up till this, so it is clear to us that the young man told a lie. He was a cheater. The soap belonged to this very old man. Poor man he was. Oh, the story is up till this. So the man Norman Gorsby sitting on a bench in a park. At that time, what happened? Time was 6:30 in the early evening, and the place was very busy. The cars, traffic was moving, and then what happened? To Gorsby, always the evening time is very, very gloomy, but now it was associated with much traffic outside, and beyond this, there were many people who were returning their home, who were moving. People faced many defeat, failure, but most of the people were not ready to admit the failures. Now, on the side of the bench, there was an elderly man sitting in a shabby dress and a gloomy face. But after some time, the man went away, and in the same place, a young man came and sat there. Gorsby, looking at the face of the young man, said, "You are very, I think you are very, you are in a very sad mood, I think." Then the man said that, "Yes, I am in a sad mood. You are right, because today I have done the most silliest thing, you know what that thing is, because I went to arrive the Pantagonium Hotel of Berkshire Square. Now, but when I got there, I found the hotel was no more there. Instead of the hotel, there was a cinema theater. Now, the taxi driver recommended me to go to another hotel. I went there, and after that I came out to buy one soap. Now, after buying the soap, I drank some drinks, and then what happened? I spent my the shilling which I have with me, and now I have nothing with me, and I don't know how to spend the night because I forgot the address of my hotel." Now, there was silence in between Gorsby and the young man. Gorsby said, "This type of the thing happened in my life also when I visited a foreign capital." Now, when the young man asked to give him money for some help, Gorsby wanted to see if some evidence, at least for the soap. The young man looking here and there, and he said that, "Oh, I lost it. I couldn't see the trace of any evidence of the soap." Now, the young man, quite angrily, he was going away. At that time, suddenly Gorsby saw the soap just down on the seat. In another moment, Gorsby was in anxious quest for a youthful figure in a light overcoat, and he was in a very hurriedly in quest of the young man. He had nearly given up the search when he caught sight of the object, and he found it actually. Ultimately, he found the young man, and then he said that what you told to me was genuine and perfect. Just look at the soap. I found it when you left the place. I got it just under the bench. Now, then he said that it is very lucky. Keep it in a very good way. Now, then you said that the man accepted the coin, the money given by the Gorsby to the man, and Gorsby said, "Here is my card with my address, and any day this work will do for returning the money, and here is the soap, don't lose it again." Now, as Gorsby retraced his steps past the seat where the little drama had taken place, he saw an elderly gentleman poking and peering beneath it. Now, when Gorsby was going to return on the bench, he said that an elderly gentleman looking and peering on all sides of it. and he saw that it was that the previous gentleman. Have you lost anything, sir? He asked. Yes, sir, a cake of soap. Now, so it is clear to you that this man was genuine. The soap belonged to him, and the young man, he was not a right person. He told, actually he cheated. Now, name of the story, we know task. The writer is Hector Hugo Munro, and that is the, but written by the name of Saki, it is the pen name. Okay, thank you very much.